In this video, I'm going to show you how to straighten out your image using the various sliders in the Geometry tab. Now we can see that in this photo, I took it a little bit crooked. It's a little bit wider at the top and not as wide as the bottom, unlike how the actual image is. And even if I crop this, you can see that I have a couple of choices to make. Either I crop it to its top dimension, leaving extra amounts at the left and right of the bottom, or I crop it in even closer at the bottom to remove that excess, but then I crop out whatever of the edges were at the top, which may or may not work for the kind of photo that you're creating. So before you crop things, something that might help out is straightening up the image in the first place. We can find the straightening properties in the edit section when we're creating general edits, and we can see that it's located in the geometry. So each of these windows, like right now, I could edit the lights, but I'm not going to edit that. We could edit the colors, but what we really want to edit right now is geometry. Now I'm going to scale this back just a little bit so you guys can see, but notice while I'm hovering over these various properties and while I'm moving them around, there is a grid over my picture to help me make this as even as possible. And so these various things can warp our design, tilt it up or down, or tilt it horizontally. Many of these are very helpful for getting this evened out. Some of these things, such as scale, X offset, and Y offset, are some of those things that we could probably take care of in the cropping. But others of these, such as the distortion, the vertical, and the horizontal, are things that we can't really do within the cropping. So I'm going to try to use the vertical to widen up the base and narrow down the top so it's a little bit more even. And I can see now that these are a lot closer to the edges of those borders, I'm a little bit crooked on my rotation. So now I'm going to rotate it a little bit to get a little bit more even. And now that actually would crop out pretty good. I'm going to scale this back up to the size that it normally is. I think I need to scale it down. Actually, yeah, let's scale it back up. I'm going to go to Y offset. I'm going to tilt it up a little bit so I get the bottom back in my scene. And then now if I want to crop, it'll crop that much easier since I have evened out my design. And we can see that the bottom corner is a little bit folded, but that's not as bad as the rest of it. And I could probably fix that using like the spot healing brush tool to kind of hide some of that distortion that happened at the bottom and top. As well as I can go through and hide other aspects within my design. I don't think that came out as well as I wanted it to. There we go. And so we cleaned up some designs and we can go about editing this image and creating a much more full design. And so that is how we use the Geometries palette to be able to edit our image as a whole, to warp it, to undo some of the strange warpings that we might have done in our original picture.